Hello everybody, this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero with another weekend outlook forecast, and this one, we're at the desk because we're going to take a look at some of these forecast models. This may be a little bit longer than the usual weekend outlook just because there is a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. So I'm going to start here by switching over to my computer screen. And here, we're taking a look at the radar. Now there's a couple of different systems out here. So we have one exiting. Essentially, there's four systems. We have one exiting system, one that's over the southeast, one in the central part of the country, and one that's actually not on the radar yet because it's still out in the Pacific Ocean. This one can't see on the radar, but when we switch to the satellite, we're going to take a look at these systems individually. Can't really see it because the clouds kind of spread throughout most of the country. And I'm going to stop it right now. So we have thick clouds throughout the southeast. The northeast, this is interesting too. That cloud deck is very harsh. So there's nice clear skies once you get a bit more north into New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. And then that harsh cloud line. So most of the tri-state area is in clouds right now. And that's going to kind of be the case throughout most of the weekend. So that's the first system, the second system. The third system, we could see it bubbling up a little bit here. Those three systems are what's in the country right now. And then the fourth system, we're not going to see because it's still dark as of this recording on the west coast. So I'm going to switch to this nighttime microphysics. And then we're going to still see in here, when I loop this, System 1 exiting, System 2 that's over the southeast, System 3 that's in the central part of the U.S., and then System 4, we can start to see these clouds coming in through California. Lots of rain in California too. And that is what's causing the issues from the past couple of days with all the rain and all the flooding. So, that we can't see here. So I'm going to change the view. We're going to go regional. Nope. Why is it not changing? Come on. Here we go. All right. Now that we're off the west coast into the Pacific, this is our next big system here, and it's quite big. And this system is going to traverse the entire lower 48 of the U.S. So it's not on land right now, which is giving these forecast models some issues because they are changing quite a bit. Even from model run to model run of the same model, they are changing. So I'm going to start with the good old tropical tidbits, and we're going to look at the GFS. This is the U.S. view, the continental U.S. So we're seeing, by this time I have it set to 0Z, so System 1's out. System 2 is moving up from the southeast into the northeast, and that's what may be giving a bit more snow and some trouble. And when we forward through this, we're going to see still mostly rain, but then as it starts to hit that colder air, that dark blue means some pretty moderate snow. So this is 7 a.m. Saturday. And the system pretty much starts exiting about 1 a.m. Sunday. And that's pretty much where it's all going to be clear. Some cold air advection if we take a look at the intersection between the height lines and the isobars there. Cold air advection. And then we're going to move. And this is going to be our next system. See, it was traversing from off the west coast through California, staying with pretty much the southern half of the U.S. there. And then it starts to pull some moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. And then once it gets out into the Atlantic, it really starts to reform right there. And as it reforms, this is the big question mark of how close it's going to get. Because if it gets close enough, it's going to be mostly mixing and rain. If it's just far enough away, then it's going to be mostly snow for the tri-state region. That has to deal with the 70-40 benchmark. So I'm going to try and get to 70-40. There's 70. And there's 40, just about there. So if the low pressure is pretty much centered at that point, at the 70-40 benchmark, that gives a good amount of snow, or mostly snow, for the tri-state region, specifically right around New York City. And it's just about there. We're at 3969. So it's right about there, excuse me, with the GFS forecast model. So this means we could be getting a bit of a good wallop if the moisture was there. But if you look at the actual moisture, it's just not really there. Most of it's centered right around the center of the low pressure system. So we are at the right point for the low pressure, but the precipitation's not there. So light to maybe some moderate snow there, but that doesn't mean we can't rule it out. So that's the GFS. Then we're going to go to the icon. And with the icon, we see system 1. See, it's more inland, the low pressure. 3972, so it's not really north and east enough for that kind of 70-40 benchmark. So that's where we're seeing a bit more rain coming through the tri-state. But once you get into, say, near Albany, northern Connecticut, Massachusetts, that's where you could be seeing that heavy wet snow with maybe some mixing happening. So that's system 1. System 2, this one starts, this is about 7 p.m. Monday, and not this weekend, but next weekend we got to get prepared to change the clocks. Daylight saving time starts. So this one has the center of the low pressure more south. So here we're seeing 37 north, 71 west, versus what we needed with 70-40, just about there. So it's not in the right area in terms of getting the moisture and the cold air mix happening. We're seeing the cold air come in because it's further away, the low pressure center. But it's not bringing the moisture in. So according to the icon model, we don't really have that much to worry about. And we're going to take a closer look at some of these. I just want to show you the systems traversing across the U.S. first. Then we're going to take a look at the NAM. And the NAM doesn't go out as far. So we're going to see system 1 here. The NAM is typically colder than the other forecast models from what I've seen, because it's a mesoscale system, a mesoscale model, so it takes a look at some other things, but tends to be on the colder side, which is why we're seeing more snow. So let's go to 6Z, which is 1 a.m., 2, 3, 4. We got 5 a.m. Still snowing by about, what do we got? 9 a.m. And then starts to make its way out of the tri-state region by 9, 10 a.m. Still snowing, it looks like, in Massachusetts, Boston area, until we take a closer look at those. And then what we're going to be seeing is the next system here. The low is not going out into the Atlantic as quickly as some of the other forecast models. So that means it may not get the energy pulse. But when we go just to the end of this, see the low? It's too close to the coast to really give significant precipitation and cold. We are seeing that maybe getting into the lower Hudson Valley, northern Connecticut. Now, the Boston area, the south shore of Connecticut on the Long Island Sound, all of Long Island, pretty much the Jersey Shore is seeing that just rain. Heavy rain, too. So no matter what happens, it looks like these forecast models are starting to agree on the positions. They're getting very close, meaning I'm getting higher confidence with these that we are getting a system coming through late Sunday, going into early Monday. And then as far out as the NAM goes, which is about 15Z Monday. Moves out pretty quickly, but those isobars pretty close, meaning the higher pressure gradient, so that means it's pretty windy. And very quickly, before we take a look at the others, I'm just going to blip on very quickly some of these WSI models. So this is the RPM. Pretty intense snow there for early on Saturday. There's a little bit of mixing there. And then going into Sunday, into Monday, let's see. Still pretty moderate snow, but I'm going to stop it right there. The low is still a bit close, so that's what's bringing up a lot more rain versus snow, but that's a pretty intense amount of snow, that dark blue. And when we take a look here, so this is the snow, so we're getting, I think this is 1 hour snowfall totals. So this is getting up near the top of the chart there, so 0.15 inches of snow per hour. So that's at the top. This could be almost near a half an inch to maybe an inch. I would say more closer to the 1/4 inch to half an inch of snow per hour. It's because the heaviest precipitation is mostly offshore. Then here, the Euro. So we're watching, kind of assuming that 540 line is the freezing line. So it's right over the tri-state. This is Saturday morning. This is about 7 a.m. Saturday. Most of that moisture is offshore. And then for the next system, still a lot of precipitation. But this is where the 540 line may not be exactly the freezing line. This could still be a lot of snow. It's very close. And the 540 line and the freezing line don't always exactly match up. And then the last one, the deep thunder model. So this is for Saturday morning. Still pretty moderate snow there. And then as that makes its way out, then we're going to watch System 2 come through. Or I should say technically this is System 3. That is colder. And that's as far out as this forecast model goes. But it's colder. The heavy snow is going as far south as, say, I think that's right around Belmar Toms River area. And that is, what's the time on this? 6Z Monday, so that's about 1 a.m. Monday. So that's pretty intense snow there. And now going back to the Tropical Tidbit site, we're going to zoom in a little bit to the northeast on each of these. So here, for System 1, we're looking at still intense snow. We're seeing a bit more detail here, the darker blues. But the system's mostly away from the coast, so not the highest amount of precipitation. We'll be making it onshore. System 2. This is going late Sunday into Monday. Not as intense. The GFS seems to be the least intense. Most of the intense precipitation is just pretty much out to sea. But yeah, we're getting some snow there. And then that makes its way out by still around that 1 p.m. time frame, 18Z Monday. Still seeing some snow right around the Massachusetts area going out into Boston. For the icon, let's switch that. And this is the one that goes out 120 hours, but I just wanted to get the latest run that I have for this recording. And we're seeing it is warmer, so not really as much snow going into the lower Hudson Valley. And when it does, say Orange and Putnam County, that line, see the 540 line? It's pretty close to the actual freezing line there. So it looks like Orange, Putnam, and North will see some snow, but Rockland, Westchester, pretty much all of the coastline of Connecticut, that area, and south will see the rain. So that's the system, technically 2, because 1 was today. And here's system 3. This pretty much is a nor'easter. By definition, this is a nor'easter. And it looks like it's staying with the heaviest precipitation focused right around the center. So when we take a closer look in our area, we're not seeing the heaviest type of snow, but we're seeing a good amount of snow over a pretty good amount of time from the overnight hours of Sunday going into Monday. And then again, the pressure gradient increases after that. And then we're going to take a look here at the NAM. Let me switch the region. This is showing us some pretty moderate snow right around that. Let's see, let's count the hours. So we got 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and then it starts to make its way out. So a few hours at least of some pretty moderate snow. That's for System 1, which then pretty much makes its way out by the late morning. Maybe some flurries once you get a bit more north. But then going into Sunday night, here we go. That's at the top of the charts here, pretty much. Oh, no, actually not at the top of the chart, but getting there. The darker blues, right about here, not very dark blue. But we are seeing, I think that matches up a bit more, actually with the sleet line. But that's a little bit confusing between these two here. However, moderate snow to maybe some intense snow in some spots, especially in the higher elevation areas. But I would say overall moderate snow late Sunday going into Monday. This is 10 p.m. Sunday. And this is actually a quicker system. The NAM's bringing it through pretty quick. So by, let me go to 7 a.m. There's 7 a.m. Monday. It's pretty much out of the area. And then very quickly here, before I run out of time, I wanted to keep this not terribly long. Total positive snow depth change. NAM. This is again accumulating for both. So this is total. So for System 1, or System 2 technically, we have the highest there looks like 4. And then this adds a few more, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got about 5 inches out of that. So by the end of the weekend, we could be seeing, if you believe the NAM, say 6 to maybe 10 inches of snow throughout this part here. That's a combination of the two systems. The first system looked more like 4 inches, and then the second system from the weekend brings up another 5 inches to bring it to 9. So not a lot of snow individually from these systems, saying around 4 to 6 inches per storm. But because it's one right after the other, we can say by the end of the weekend we could be near a foot of snow. That's from the NAM. Let's take a look at the icon. We're going to see total snowfall. So from System 1, let's take a look. Again, right around that 4-inch mark. And then System 2 brings it up to 6. Now, if you remember, this was the one that was a bit more south, so it was a bit warmer. So this is only bringing about 2 inches more throughout the tri-state region. A bit more once you get north, say into Massachusetts. Not necessarily Boston, but a bit more inland there. That's where you're seeing a bit more. So this, again, could be maybe 2 to 4 inches additional on top of the 4 inches that was at most throughout the first system going into Friday night, tonight, into Saturday. The NAM, let's take a look. Oh, I was in the NAM already. GFS. Now remember, this one was the least intense onshore. So I'm going to go total positive snow depth change. And this is saying about up to 6 to 8 inches from the first system. And then looks like the highest I see there is 11. It's another 3 inches. So it looks like we're getting, because it's going to be a bit more colder, we're going to be seeing a bit more snow from the first system versus the second system. But the second system is much more intense. That is essentially a nor'easter. And we are going to be seeing quite a bit of some snow or rain in areas out of there. Alright, so I'm going to take that down, switch back to my main camera. So overall, yes, this was a pretty long weekend outlook forecast, but we had a lot to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed the detail I was able to go into with this, looking at all the different forecast models that I show normally, or I look at normally when I'm forecasting. So overall, it's a very messy weekend. We're going to be seeing a lot of intense precipitation in certain areas. Tonight into tomorrow is number 1. Then Sunday night into Monday is number 2 for the weekend. And again, overall, between the two systems combined, we could be seeing maybe 6 to 10 inches of snow. So quite a bit of snow to pick up in a couple of days, but that is what we're looking at as of right now. I'll keep you guys posted throughout the rest of the weekend. Check out all of my social media accounts. That's where I'll be posting stuff, which is at WeathermanAP. That's on Facebook. That's on Twitter. And I do have an Instagram, but that's more for photography. But if you look at Facebook and Twitter, at WeathermanAP. That's where I'll be updating you more with posts on what to expect. So, I do apologize for the longer video, but I hope you enjoyed the detailed look that we took a look at for the weekend. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. Please stay safe over the weekend with this multiple rounds of low pressures and snow and rain. It's going to be a rough one. I hope you stay safe. Please stay safe with this, and I will see you all in the next video.